Shiny Pokemon have always been the greatest test of difficulty when it comes for hunting for Pokemon. Ever since being introduced, people spend hours, days, or even weeks hunting to see the sparkle of a shiny Pokemon appear on their screen. However, over the years, Game Freak has continually introduced Pokemon that cannot be obtained as shinies. Whether it be due to being exclusive to limited time events or coded to not appear shiny, certain shiny Pokemon have never been obtained. Today, I wanted to explore the list of Pokemon that have never been shiny hunted, and while doing so, also rate the shiny based on appearance and see why it's never been available for capture. I do also want to note that these Pokemon shinies do exist and some can be hacked into games. However, I will be talking about Pokemon that cannot be captured legitimately in their shiny forms throughout any generation. Starting out, our first Pokemon is Victini. Victini is a Psychic Fire mythical Pokemon introduced in Generation 5. Victini was first available in an event via the Liberty Pass that lasted from the launch day of Pokemon Black and White to April 10, 2011. Ever since then, its shiny has never been made available. This is further disappointing as Victini's shiny is very well designed and one I definitely think looks even better as a Gen 5 sprite. I'd give this shiny a 8.5 out of 10 for its unique and well designed blend of colors. Next is Keldeo. Keldeo is a fighting water mythical Pokemon also introduced in Generation 5. Keldeo actually has two shinies since it has its normal form and resolute form, both of which share the same color palette. Keldeo was an event-only Pokemon as well, first available in an event from August 27th to October 6, 2012 in Pokemon Black and White. Sadly though, Keldeo is still shiny locked. I give this shiny another 8.5 out of 10, mainly for the green color that appears on its fur. Lastly from Generation 5 is Meloetta. Meloetta is a normal psychic mythical Pokemon that is once again exclusive to an event from March 4th to March 24th, 2013 for Pokemon Black and White. Meloetta also has two shinies due to it having both an Aria form and Pierrette form. However, these shinies have differing color palettes. The Pierrette form is definitely my favorite of the two, and I'll give it an 8 out of 10 even if it's quite basic. The Aria form shiny, which is again nothing crazy, but I do like the color and give it a 7 out of 10. Moving on to Generation 6, there's two Pokemon who cannot be obtained in their shiny forms, this being Hoopa and Volcanion. Hoopa, a mythical Pokemon, has two forms, Confined, which is Psychic Ghost type, and Unbound, which is Psychic Dark type. Volcanion, also a mythical, is a Fire-Water type. Both Hoopa and Volcanion are event-only Pokemon which took place during the lifespan of Pokemon X and Y. Both forms of Hoopa share the same concept when it comes to its shinies, being turned into a gold tint. I give these shinies a 3 out of 10 just for the lack of creativity, but they're not awful. However, Volcanion takes being a gold shiny to a new level. I give this shiny a 9 out of 10 for its awesomeness, and it's disappointing that this shiny cannot be legitimately obtained. Moving to Generation 7, two legendary Pokemon that cannot be shinier are Cosmog and Cosmium. Both Psychic types, these are the pre-evolutions of the legendary box Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Both Cosmog and Cosmium are shiny locked and cannot appear as shinies within Sun and Moon. Moving on to their shiny appearances, Cosmog's shiny is literally identical to its base form, so I'll have to give this a 0 out of 10. Cosmium, on the other hand, does have a decent shiny, but I'll still have to give it a 5 out of 10 for just not doing enough. Magearna is a Steel Fairy mythical that is event only and not available as a shiny. The Magearna giveaway event in Pokemon Sun and Moon began on December 5th, 2016. The event was originally scheduled to end in March 2017, but it ran indefinitely due to the unlimited amount of QR codes that were used to obtain the gift containing Magearna. Magearna has two forms, its base form and its original color form. Base form shiny Magearna is another Cosmog case, where the shiny is identical to the base, so I'll have to give it a 0 out of 10. However, the original color form has a cool shiny where its red turns to all black. I give this shiny a 6.5 out of 10 since it doesn't change much, but it definitely does make it look cooler. Marshadow is a fighting ghost type which was released in an event in GameStop from October 9th to October 23rd, 2017 for Pokemon Sun and Moon. And what seems to be an ongoing theme for these shinies locked in Generation 7 Pokemon, Marshadow 2 has an identical shiny to its original, which I'll give the score of a 0 out of 10. The final shiny locked Pokemon of Generation 7 is the evolutionary line of Kubfu and Urshifu. Kubfu is a legendary fighting type Pokemon which is shiny locked in its encounters. Kubfu is available in the Isle of Armor DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and its shiny only changes the color of its mouth, which I'll give a 1 out of 10 rating for, since at least it changes at all. Urshifu, Kubfu's evolution and also a legendary, has two forms, Single Strike style, which is fighting dark, and Rapid Strike style, which is fighting water. Both of these shinies follow the same trend as Kubfu, where its skin is changed to a different color. I'll give these shinies a 3 out of 10 for effort. Now when it comes to Generation 9, there are still a lot of Pokemon who haven't had their shinies made obtainable. Since I want to get this video out in 2024, I just want to briefly talk about how Koraidon and Miraidon, the box legendaries of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, are still shiny locked. What makes it even worse is that their shiny form forms are awesome, especially Koraidon. Furthermore, a lot of the Paradox Pokemon also have really great shiny forms, and it would be cool if Game Freak can make these Pokemon legitimately accessible one day. If you'd like to see the full list, I'll be leaving a link to a list of every single shiny lock Pokemon in the description. With that, there are a bunch of shiny Pokemon that are still impossible to be obtained. What do you think is the best shiny Pokemon that we are missing out on? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.